Hi, in this video we are going to talk about the remove method as far as hash tables are concerned. So we are going to have a public void remove method with the key. So we would like to get rid of a key value pair according to the key. If the key is equal to a null, we are just going to return. Anyways, we are going to have an index again is equal to a hash function with the key. And first we have to find the item we want to get rid of. So while the keys with the given index is not equal to the key, so that's why there's the exclamation mark, we just have to increment the index. Index is equal to the index plus 1 modulo the capacity. Okay, so basically we try to find the item we want to get rid of. Then we just have to delete the items, the key and the value. So the keys with the index is equal to a null and the values at the given index is equal to a null. Okay, and then we have to reconstruct the table starting from the item we have deleted, because there's a hole in the table after the deletion operation and the get method will not work properly otherwise. So as you can see, we have get rid of a given value, but how we implemented the get method? As you can see, we iterate until the key index is not equal to a null. Because we have get rid of an item, these are going to be nulls, so we end up with this while loop and we return null. Maybe there's the given value we are looking for, but we should increment the index. But we are not going to increment the index because this while loop is going to be ended. So that's why somehow we have to reconstruct that given hash table, while basically we have to reinsert items in the same cluster after the key value pair we have deleted. So while the keys at the given index is not equal to a null, we just have to get the temporary key which is equal to the keys at the given index. We have to get the temporary value, so temp value is equal to the values at the given index. And we have to get rid of these basically, so the keys index is equal to a null, then the values at the given index is equal to a null, and okay, we have to decrement the number of items, and what's very important that we have to insert them again, the temp key and the temporary value. Okay, and of course we have to increment the index. The index is equal to the index plus 1 modulo capacity, and then we have to decrement the number of items because we have removed that given item with the key and the value. We have to check whether to resize that given array or not. So if the number of items is smaller than equal to the capacity divided by 3, basically, you can define whatever you like, but this is a good programming practice as far as hash tables are concerned, that if 33% of the table is full, then we have to resize, and basically we have to resize the table, and the new size is going to be half of the original size. Why is it good? Because if we have a huge hash table, for example, with the capacity 10 million, it means that it can store up to 10 million items. But let's suppose the fact that we have get rid of half of the items and we end up with, for example, 2 million items. Then we are going to have an array designed for 10 million items and we just store 2 million items. So there's going to be a huge memory waste. So that's why we have to decrement the size of the hash table. And this is what's happening here. So for example, let's suppose the situation that we would like to get rid of where the value is equal to 100 and the key is equal to the array index 2. Okay, we just have to find that given value, we have to get rid of it, but we have to make sure that there's not going to be an empty slot in the cluster. What is a cluster? When basically all the items are not equal to null right after each other. So before the deletion, it is a single cluster and it is a single cluster because there's a null value between the two clusters. But if we get rid of this, we have to make sure that we shift this 130 one position to the up, and we shift 110 one position to the up. It's very important because if we do not make this operation, this shift basically, then the get method is not going to work fine the next time we would like to get a value. So that's why we have to remove the items. Okay, but this is not enough. While the keys index is not equal to a null, we have to get a temporary key, we have to get a temporary value, we have to set them to null and reinsert that given value with the key. We have to decrement this number of items because the put method is going to increment it. So that's why we have to decrement it before we insert it again. And of course, we have to consider the next item possible. And then we know for certain that, okay, the cluster is fine. So we have to decrement the number of items because we have, okay, maybe I'm going to cut and paste it here to be self-consistent because we have get rid of a given item. And then we have to check whether to resize the given hash table or not. In the next video, we are going to consider this resize method. Thanks for watching.